meteorologist Kate Hickford with the National Weather Service out of Paducah, Kentucky. And on this winter episode of Porch Watchin', today we'll be talking to Jake Klein, who is the Emergency Department Manager for the Missouri Delta Medical Center in Sikeston, Missouri. Welcome, Jake.
Hello, how are you?
Doing great, thanks. So we're going to be talking about some general winter self-care and things like shoveling smart, slips and falls, cold water dangers, dressing kids for school and the bus stop, things like that. What can you tell us about some of that?
So slips and falls, very common reason that people end up in the emergency department this time of year. Biggest thing is, move slow and steady. No reason to try and run a race. Wear, good shoes that have good tread. Boots are great for the ankle support. And then snow tracks are an additional thing, that you can put on the bottom of your shoes that provide you that extra traction to get around in kind of the wintry mess. And like I said, just moving a slow and steady pace and take your time.
Great, that's really good tips. What about things like dressing kids for school and the bus stop? I know some kids have to walk to school, some have to walk really far to their bus stop. Maybe they're waiting 30 minutes on the bus or so. What about that?
Yeah, so kids really need to be protected in the, in the frigid cold that is going on. So biggest thing is appropriate dress wear. So they should be covered in at least 3 layers of clothing. The first layer should be some type of moisture wicking to get that sweat away from the body. The second layer should be something that is more of an insulator, kind of holds the heat in. And then, the big coat to provide that extra layer of insulation and protect them from the outside elements.
Now, those big coats can sometimes be a problem, I know, when it comes to car seat safety.
Absolutely.
What can you tell us about that?
So, car seats, the biggest thing is their harness. They have to be appropriately seated in their harness. So when putting on those big coats, it can actually prevent them from being properly secured in the car seat. So if you are involved in a motor vehicle collision, they can actually slide out of the car seat or come out of the car seat. Not good results.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we're taking those coats off.
Absolutely.
And then we are just going from building to car and back to building, so we can put those coats on in between and just not wear them in the car seat.
Yes. Even though, it is kind of a hassle, you're trying to hurry, but that one extra step of safety can
it really matters.
Be a huge role. Yeah.
And then I know a lot of kids like to go out and try to play on the frozen ponds and lakes, but we know that ice should be at least 2 inches thick, if not more. But once we start to get closer to freezing and that ice starts to melt, it gets a little thinner. Yeah, what can happen?
Yeah. So, the instability of ice, and there's a huge risk when playing on those frozen lakes and ponds because they can anybody can fall through, and which puts you at a huge risk for hypothermia, drowning, and even fatalities are related to that.
Yeah, and that's not good at all. I'm glad that you mentioned hypothermia because we do have another video coming out on frostbite and hypothermia as well. But lastly, what about shoveling? I know shoveling can really put a strain on the heart, strain on the back, and a lot of us are not in the best shape for shoveling snow and ice.
Yes, myself included. So when it comes to shoveling, kind of goes along with, wearing those good shoes to provide you that stability. But shoveling, make sure that you're doing it in moderation. It doesn't have to be trying to perform an Olympic sport when you're shoveling. And then, you're wearing that extra clothing more than likely because it's cold. So you're putting yourself at risk for dehydration because you're sweating underneath all of that. So moderation and preventing dehydration are probably the 2 biggest things for safety with shoveling. And those with health issues, try and limit the amount that you're doing for sure to reduce the strain on yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are some really great tips for this winter, and we really hope that everyone stays safe out there and really kind of takes this to heart. So we hope that everyone can stay safe, and we'll see you next time on Porch Watchin'.